Ah. Oh. Whew. All right, I guess to some people, maybe this is a lot for shoulder press. I don't feel like it's a lot, but I got issues. I mean, grand scheme of things, 315 is kind of a shit ton for overhead press. And I guess that's kind of like a mindset you gotta have is, I remember, maybe 2 years ago, I was able to do 225 for one, and it was ugly. And that just kind of goes to show how slow this progress is and how consistency is really the biggest factor in progress. Like imagining the jump from 225 to 315 seems impossible, but imagining the jump from 225 to 230 is a very attainable goal, even in the short term. And like I said, 2 years of doing this, I'm up to 315. And you know, every day, every week, every month seems like there's no progress, but you add all those micro gains up over the course of a year or 2 years. I mean, 90 extra pounds, pretty significant. So I think that's just kind of the mindset you got to have, that, you know, you're not going to see gains or results or any improvement over the course of weeks or maybe even months. But if you stick with it and you keep going and you don't quit, you know, those micro gains are going to end up being massive leaps over the course of several months or even a couple years. Another thing I always found interesting is the phases of gym goers. I mean, in my case, everyone has their own reasons to start going to the gym or start getting into fitness or whatever. But first, you know, mostly it's, hey, I want to look good. Hey, I want to feel good. I want to be strong. And then you move on to something more specific. I want to be a power lifter. I want to be a weightlifter. I want to be a bodybuilder. Oh, and then you do that for a little bit and then it changes. And you go to the next phase. You're like, okay, I want to be a little bit more well-rounded. I want to be, what's it called when they do like lifting and running, a hybrid, whatever the hell that is nowadays, or I want to do CrossFit, or, you know, whatever it is. They get into like, after the initial, oh, I just want to look and feel good. If they keep going, they get into like these really specific niches, which is cool. But it's like the growth of a person. And like each time you go through one of those phases, kind of seems like you learn something new. And, you know, eventually you make it through all the phases, or you don't. Maybe you get stuck at one and you're a powerlifter forever. But like in my case, I started just because I could see my heartbeat through my chest and I wanted to get bigger. And then I got addicted to being stronger, so I wanted to get stronger. So I didn't really care how big I got. It was just an awesome side effect of getting stronger. And then I got into weightlifting. I did pretty much only Olympic weightlifting for several years, and now I stopped doing that, and I don't really have a specific goal. And I think that's kind of part of the process. You go through all these phases, and you grow and you learn, and then you move on. But eventually, those phases, for me anyway, kind of ceased, and now I don't really have a specific goal. And I think maybe that in and of itself is a phase where I don't have a specific goal. I'm in here just because I like being in here. I enjoy the process. I'm still getting stronger. I'm still hitting PRs every now and then. And yeah, I think that's just kind of part of life as a gym rat / being into fitness. Kind of interesting to go through it myself and to watch other people go through it. You see people just fresh in the gym. You see people moving on to bodybuilding. You see people, whatever it is they're doing, and it tends to go in phases. And each time they enter a phase and then leave that phase, they come out a different person than they came in. And it's, super interesting how all that kind of folds out. Oh man, that was fewer than I wanted to do. I'm sure some of you are going to talk shit on how most of those don't even count because they're half reps. I don't care. Frankly, most of the range of motion was in the lengthened position of the muscle, and that's where most of the gains happen, so I'm good with that. That was just my burnout set anyway, so I don't really care. This high row is one of those lifts where it's difficult to go heavier and still remaining strict with good form. I mean, my form here is already questionable enough. Could I go heavier? Yeah. Would my form break down even more? Absolutely. So this has been kind of frustrating. I've been stuck at 225. I feel like forever doing generally the same rep range with the same weight. I try to be a little more strict. I feel like I'm a little bit more strict, but half to 2/3 through the set, I feel like I'm doing not enough range of motion. But at the same time, the cool part with that is when my arms are straight, it's when the muscles lengthen the most, which, as they say, is the best part of the rep. But at the same time, I still feel like I could be doing a little bit better. But if I drop down to like 185, then I feel like it's not heavy enough. I don't know. So I guess I'll just stay here. Another thing I should probably start thinking about is programming, and do I need this exercise in my program at all? Only reason I was keeping it is because it was like a auxiliary movement for snatch, but seeing that I don't really snatch anymore, this is probably not the most ideal movement for rear shoulders. So kind of what I was talking about with phases and changing and growing and stuff. Like, I'm not really an Olympic lifter anymore, so I don't really need stuff like this. There's better stuff out there for rear shoulder.
that I could do. So, you know, when it comes time to change my program around, I'll probably take this out. Although I do feel that in my traps like a motherfucker, but also in my low back. So, you know, it's kind of like any exercise is a low back exercise if you do it wrong enough. Just like any machine is a fog machine if you operate it wrong enough. All right, so this is 60s, and it was okay. You know, range of motion and form was a little something to be desired of, but I think that's sometimes, you know, that's okay. Going heavier than you're capable of is kind of the point of being in the gym. But after shoulder press and upright row, a little more tired than usual, so I'm gonna check my ego a little bit and drop down and see what 50s do me. Maybe get a little bit of better range of motion and not look like a, you know, wounded duck as much. All right. All right, only doing 3 sets here. This will be it. And since it's the last set, I won't feel too bad when, you know, the last several reps are just pumping it out. All right, last movement of the day. Try not to suck the last few minutes. Should have did 60 last week. Should I try 70? I'll try it. Let's see what happens. All right, I want to get a one hell of a stretch here. Oh. You know, at the very end of the workout, it's kind of weird because you're the most tired, but you know you have the least to do because after this you're done. So even though you're tired and exhausted, it's a lot easier to really push, because even though consciously I do my hardest not to save any energy for the rest of the workout, because the better I do in the beginning of the workout, if later suffers, that's okay. But still, obviously, subconsciously, I still have some reservations in the beginning of the workout, going as hard as I try to right now. Or maybe it's just because I'm tired and I'm taking longer breaks. I don't know. I would like to think it's not because my subconscious is a bitch and I don't actually go to failure. But, you know, it's one of those things, I guess. We'll never actually know. All right, that's it for now. Yeah. All right, see ya.